iconic bike for me was the PK Ripper. It kept, resurfacing amongst conversations with me and some of my friends that are, in kind of the art world. I was actually talking with our president here, Nick, and we were talking about what he thought about the PK Ripper living in Australia. And he said the same thing. It was like, oh my God, everybody revered that bike. We saw it in magazines. It was impossible to get. And it just clicked. I was like, why don't we bring it back? Like, why don't we look at paying homage to that bike as one of the most iconic sort of symbols of vintage BMX.
The DC project with SE to reissue the PK Ripper is really cool because there hasn't been that much attention to the hobby for like old school BMX. It's cool because DC is a huge company, so they'll be able to bring a lot of attention to, the whole movement of BMX, from back in the day.
It's really cool that DC is coming in to recognize that time of the sport. It says a lot that they're looking back at the heritage and they're getting together with SE and they're going to really do it upright and kind of educate the kids a little bit and kind of honor a certain period of the sport that was, pretty cool to live through.
I think it's really cool that they're stepping up and paying some respect to the PK Ripper, the history, the impact that the PK Ripper really had on the sport of BMX, and the fact that DC supports BMX, I think is really cool that they're paying this tribute and doing this collaboration with the bike and the shoe and the whole package together as a limited edition.
The fact that Damon and DC are doing this as an artist project and showing the art form as BMX as an art is the ultimate. And he's not just like making thousands of bikes and thousands of shoes. He's paying the ultimate tribute to BMX and showing it as it's an art form. It's not just a bunch of kids riding a bike.
I think if you look back at the beginnings of, sports like skateboarding and BMX and even surfing, it was all about the love of the sport. There was no industry. It was, do it yourself. And it was pure and innocent. And I think that it's so important for kids to understand that that's how these industries were born and to somehow reconnect with that on whatever level they can, to really engage that like soulfulness of the beginning.
There's guys that are my age or a little bit younger that never could have a PK Ripper, that knew somebody that had one. Now they can get one, and now it's like, okay, now my life's complete, or now my bike quiver is complete to have, a PK Ripper in it.
What would I do today to get a PK Ripper? I don't know, I pretty much would punch my mother in the face.
Seriously? I will give my left nut for one of those, and I really mean that.
Dominic doesn't have a right nut, so he'd probably give his left nut, which leave him with nothing. So, good luck with that.
What do I have to do to get a PK Ripper?
Getting the second one and putting it right next to that one would be unstoppable.
I finally get to have the bike of my dreams.